Good evening. I'd like to call our Clover Garden School Board of Directors meeting for August 10th, 2021 to order at 6:32 p.m. Ms. Varakin, roll of the board and mission.
Role of the board, we are entrusted to care for the current school and stay focused on the vision for the future school. No trust, no unity, no progress. The mission statement, Clover Garden School will foster community, generate enthusiasm, challenge students academically, and produce successful citizens.
Thank you, Ms. Varakin. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda for this evening? Do I have any questions, additions? Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Make the motion.
Ms. Lane, second. Mr. Huffines, all in favor? Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from July 13th and our special meeting on July 19th? Were there any changes or concerns from either of those two meetings or the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for July 13th and July 19th? Ms. Foster, second. Ms. Lane, all in favor? Thank you. Ms. Varakin, do we have any public comment?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Moves us down to finances. Ms. Simmons?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. June. So this information is for our stakeholders and our board members for Title I, II, and IV. And the usage of those funds are as follows. So Title II and Title IV will be rolled up into Title I to support the salary of a math specialist, as well as supporting consumable supplies and materials to support the position. The goals are to increase by 3% in grades K through 8, with a focus in 7th and 8th grade, according to iReady and NC Check-in data that was compared to the 2020 and 2021 data. Moving on to ESSER 3, federal fund updates. So we plan to use these funds as follows as well. So part of these federal funds, there's a mandatory 20% of the funds that have been mandated for us to use for summer learning and to address learning loss gaps. Ms. Moore and Mr. Baker have developed a plan to address those gaps over the next 2 summers. Our plan to use the remaining funds are as follows in certain selected categories that they give you that you can use the funds in. Improvements to minimize transmission of the virus and supplies to sanitize and clean, educational technology, and mental health services. So within those categories, we plan to purchase buses, replace smart boards with smart TVs, replace our cafeteria tables, and most importantly, apply toward mental health services and programs for our students. That's it on those 2 updates, Ms. Jude. Does anyone have any questions or concerns?
Okay.
Next, Ms. June, we would like to request a motion for Heather Varakin to submit the consolidated Title I, II, and IV, which is considered the consolidated application since we're rolling up in Title I. We request a motion for Heather Varakin to submit that consolidated application on behalf of Clover Garden School.
Do I have a motion to approve Heather Varakin as the submitter for those consolidated applications? Ms. Lane, second. Mr. Huffines, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, academics, the principal's report. Ms. Moore.
So we've got so many great things happening. It's the 3rd week of school, and between the 3 of us, we have been in just about every single classroom in an informal observation setting.
We've got 9 more teachers to really sit in and watch, but I tell you what, we have seen some awesome instruction, children learning, teachers teaching, and you can just, there's an air of excitement. I've had a few teachers come up to me and say, this is the best year ever because I'm actually getting to teach and I'm doing what I love and what I'm called to do. So it's just been awesome to be in our building these past 3 weeks. In our principal's report, just wanted to give you a few glimpses, snapshots of things that are happening. Our students are really stretching their rubber bands this year. You've probably heard me talk about the law of the rubber band in the past. And our students are also stretching and growing. So between today and next Monday, or Monday the 23rd, we're going to have 76 students starting courses through NCDPS. That's North Carolina Virtual Public Academy or school. And that is classes that we cannot offer here at Clover Garden. On August the 16th, we have 41 students taking 154 ACC course credits. And that's awesome that they're taking advantage of that opportunity. We have 15 students taking American High School Sign Language and 4 are taking it at the college level. We have foreign languages from Russian to French to German to Latin to Spanish that our students are learning. Electives that they are taking through either NCDPS or ACC include psychology, anatomy, fashion design, art of gaming, forensic science, entrepreneurship, food and nutrition, computer programming, African American studies, animal science, veterinary science, astronomy, mythology and folklore, AP Environmental Science, and AP World History. And that's just so exciting to me that our kids want more, and they're doing more. They're putting in the work to make sure that they get these. And then we have our first students taking engineering courses at ACC, which is really exciting. We have 3 ACC instructors coming on campus to teach 4 courses to our students. And we had 10 students take 18 college courses over the summer. 14 of those classes, they earned an A, 3 for a B, and 1 C. So in the summertime, check out those awesome grades. And then beginning this semester, ACC is offering all CCP, which is our College Career Promise, students free textbooks for 7 of the most popular courses at ACC. And I think that's super important for our stakeholders to know. Even if you've got elementary babies, that is something to be excited about. Because not only are they getting the opportunity here to take ACC courses, but now they're paying for the textbooks. Like, yes. With the average textbook price running about $75, this is an awesome benefit. And Ms. Nina put this note on here. Our students are growing fast and furious. Can we keep up? And I tell you what, we sure are trying. Wanted to let you know about our attendance for the first 2 weeks of school. So you know how important attendance is anywhere, but especially in a charter school and how it affects our ADM and our monies. And so here's just a snapshot. If you've been following us on Facebook, you know that there's a big, beautiful bulletin board right there at the front door where we are tracking grade level attendance each and every week. And you can just see right here, the first week we had 97.77% attendance. And then last week we had 96.9% attendance. Our enrollment update is down here. This is Ms. Nina's chart of all information that she wanted you to know. As you can see, as of today, we are at full capacity at 655. So woo-hoo, go Nina. She's worked really hard on that. And she's got some notes on here. So let's see. 1, 2, I believe it's one of these. Now that I'm looking, I can't see it. So accepted, you've got the bright yellow right here, and to the right of that accepted of this column right here, she's got 33% of those that accepted did not enroll. And so they said, yeah, I want to be at Clover Garden, but then they backed up and said, oh, maybe not. And she's got a note down here of the top reasons of why people are declining once they get that final call. And I just want to bring this to your attention because I think it's interesting. So siblings not getting in, late acceptance after school has started. They don't want to bring their kids in after the year has started. COVID, transportation, football, and then parents not agreeing on which school to go to, and then free lunches. So all those are reasons why people are saying, oh, on second thought, maybe not. The next page, wanted to show you last night Our senior advisors, Mr. Cheek and Ms. Peel, hosted our senior college information night for our seniors and for their families. And this is super exciting because they want to make sure that they hosted that meeting soon because it won't be long and our kids will be applying for scholarships, they'll be applying for college, all those good things. So they talked about choosing the right college, admissions process, financial aid, just all kinds of things related to college and what you need to do now to get ready for May and afterwards. There was about 40 parents, 40 families, so that's really exciting too, that we had so many. And then next Monday, they're hosting an information session for our juniors. Also wanted to introduce to you a new staff member. This is Miss Nevin. She has joined our EC team, and we're super excited to have her. And then we also have some upcoming events. So on the 11th, we have our athletic boosters. They are meeting. College information night for juniors is next Monday. We are going to have a Boy Scout informational night here on campus on the 19th. We're excited about that collaboration with them. And then we have a half day coming up and an academic break. We'll be here before we know it. That's all I have. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Moving on to old business, Ms. Varaken and Ms. Cox.
So Ms. Cox has created and put together a beautiful presentation for you today to give you some updates on COVID. As we've talked about this before, we were hoping that Sharon wouldn't have to use that C word, but unfortunately it's still part of our daily life. So I want to give you the updates that we have. As of most recently, the Strong Schools, the toolkit that we always use has been updated as of the end of July. So she's going to go over some presentation information with you. But if you'd like to look first at the metrics, so I like to always start with that. So if you want to take a look at that, these metrics are as of the 28th of July. So of course things I'm sure have changed within the last week or so. But so this is just kind of letting you guys know kind of where we're sitting for Alamance County. Do they have that?
They do, but it's after the presentation.
Okay,
Thank you. Yep, that's exactly it. Very good.
thank you, Ms. Moore.
So these metrics, like I said, are as of the 28th. So Health and Wellness has hit the ground running again this school year. Our committee getting ready to rock and roll and try to make sure we're continuing to keep everybody safe and secure this school year. So kind of taking a look at this, where Dr. Vaughn gets this information for us. She is a epidemiologist that sits in on our Health and Wellness Committee. She pulls it from the dashboard from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. So they update this periodically, and so this is kind of where this information comes from. So just kind of hitting some highlights there, and on the calls that Ms. Cox and I have set in on, that the Department of Health and Human Services actually provide for leaders, school leaders and things like that. Obviously, there is an uptick on the Delta variant. That's a big piece of what they're watching right now. And of course, watching for the vaccination, the opportunities for our kids. We're still sitting at the point where not all of our students can be vaccinated. So that's going to be some information that Ms. Cox is going to talk to you after in just a little bit. But if you take a look at Alamance County, we are considered to fall into the substantial range of transmission. So that is concerning. Of course, we don't want to be in the yellow or the orange when it comes to that. So we are in substantial transmission, and you will see in this information just kind of an uptick again across the board in the different counties. That this is kind of where she's pulled this information from. So if you take a look at the second page of your metrics there, again, you can take a look. Remember, they've changed some of the way they have measured these metrics. So this is still based on number of new cases per 100,000 persons in the last 7 days, and then the percentage of PCR tests that are positive during the last 7 days. So if you take a look at that, you can see Alamance County and Castle and Guilford, which of course are our top three that we do continue to still serve in our community, are all falling in the substantial transmission. So very, very likely that COVID can be spread. It just kind of gives you a little information there. So on the next couple of pages, talks a little bit about the Delta variant and kind of what they're watching with those strands. And then on the very back, talks about vaccination status. That's been a big talk, of course, in our committee and across the board in these webinars that we're sitting in on. So talking about vaccination rates, Alamance County technically right now is still sitting about 45% of the population being fully vaccinated. So making progress, slowly but surely, but the health experts are very concerned about this Delta variant and how that's going to affect our population. And Ms. Cox is going to be upfront and honest with you and let you know that, that is something that is apparent, and so that is still very active in our community. So we're going to talk a little bit about the updates to COVID, with reopening schools, us being some of the first schools to start. We're kind of making the way for everybody else because the county schools are just now gearing up. So that's come with some frustration and clarity needed because everybody thought we would be starting off on a different foot. But so anyway, so we've got some great folks that we're working with to make sure that we have clarity. But this year is going to be a challenge, just truth and transparent. But we're up for it. But just want to make sure you have the updates. She's going to let you know some more information that she has gathered, and then there is a survey that we sent out to our families as well. Wanted to kind of give you guys a temp check for our families in the neighborhood and kind of how they feel about some of the mitigations that we put into place. They have changed a little bit with it being mandatory versus being the local school's direction, our discretion at what we put into place. So we do have some survey results we're going to show you. It's going to give you kind of a temp check of how families feel about our mitigations that we have in place to try to help prevent the spread of COVID. And then we will discuss in a little bit recommendations from the Health and Wellness Committee.
So for the Health and Wellness Committee COVID-19 and contact tracing updates as of yesterday, August the 10th, each of you have the PowerPoint presentation in your packet. The general overview will be the combination of the CDC, our Strong Schools North Carolina Public Health Toolkit, our Alamance County Health Department, the parent survey results, and then the health and wellness recommendations, and then our athletic recommendations. So on August the 4th, the CDC updated their guidance for the K-12 schools. The biggest key takeaway is that we know students benefit from in-person learning, and we need to focus on the safe returning to in-person instruction for the fall 2020. Vaccination is the leading public health prevention strategy, so we want to definitely promote the vaccination to help schools safely return to in-person learning, as well as the extracurricular activities and sports. Due to the circulating and highly contagious Delta variant, CDC recommends universal indoor masking by all students ages 2 and older, staff, teachers, and visitors to K-12 schools, regardless of the vaccination status. In addition to the universal indoor masking, they're still recommending that at least 3 feet if possible. And when we cannot do the 3 feet, to make sure that we're using other multiple mitigation strategies as far as ventilation, potential screening testing on hand, the hand washing and the respiratory etiquette, staying home when sick and getting tested, and also the contact tracing in combination with the quarantine and isolation. And also the cleaning and disinfection are the most important layers of prevention to keep the school safe. A big part of our school is 71% are kindergarten through 8th grade that are not eligible for our vaccination. So that's a pretty big number for our school. 9th through 12th grade is 29%. So we really need to focus on the littles with the 71% who are not eligible for the vaccination. And again, we just need to continue to work with our local authorities with the community transmission, our vaccination coverage, and then the occurrence of outbreaks due to the guide decisions on the level of layered prevention strategies. Again, the social distancing, the screen testing, the disinfectant, the hand washing. So that's just from the CDC. The Strong Schools Public Health Toolkit is basically the same, except they go into now the Delta variant, which we now know is the predominant Delta variant here in North Carolina, and it's more contagious than the original. So the original virus would originally spread from one person to an average of 2 to 3. And now they're saying that it is an average from 1 person to 6 people. So it's spreading a lot more faster. Therefore, the unvaccinated people, which again, keep in mind is our 71% total of our student population, are at a greater risk of catching and spreading the COVID-19. And they risk to children under 12 who cannot be vaccinated and those who may have some sort of immune deficiency. So again, getting vaccinated is the most effective way to prevent the serious illnesses. The key takeaways from that, the CDC and the Strong School Toolkit, is that the mask should be worn indoors by all individuals who are not fully vaccinated. Consistent and correct use by people who are not fully vaccinated is especially important indoors and in crowded settings when definitely physical distancing cannot be maintained. It may also become necessary for schools to collect COVID-19 vaccine information of staff and students, as done for other immunizations against other highly infectious diseases. Keep in mind, an added benefit of the universal masking is protection of students and staff against other respiratory illnesses that would take time away from school. So the close contact confirmed positive case of COVID-19 as of 7:30. The CDC added an exception to the need to quarantine in the close contact definition, excluding students who were within 3 to 6 feet of an infected student when both students were engaged in consistent and correct use of well-fitting face masks and other K-12 school prevention strategies. But this exception does not apply to teachers, staff, or other adults in the indoor classrooms setting. Do I still have everybody's attention? Very good. Making sure nobody's asleep. The Alamance County Health Department, as of August the 9th, they have revised their quarantine period from 10 days now back to 14 days for any student or adult who has been identified as a close contact to a positive case. The household contact wording was removed from CDC, the toolkit, and the verbiage for Alamance County Health Department because the close contact will now include the household since it meets the 15 minutes, less than 6 feet, 24-hour accumulative time frame. Staff who have been vaccinated are showing symptoms of COVID-19 should be presumed positive and get tested, preferably with a PCR, and stay home until they get results. If positive, they will need to isolate for 10 days from the date of onset of the symptom. If negative, have them visit a healthcare provider to evaluate and provide an alternate diagnosis that would explain the symptoms of COVID-19. So we have our various school districts in our surrounding Clover Garden School area mask mandates. So Guilford County is required mask, and they will review it after 9 weeks. Rockingham County is optional. Alamance County is requiring mask. Randolph County is optional. Caswell County is required. Orange County is required. And Forsyth County is required. So our various schools in our surrounding area, all of these show required with the option of Burlington Christian Academy is optional, but it is required for teachers who are not vaccinated. Revolution School in Greensboro is optional, and Phoenix Academy is optional. And some of these are revisiting on a monthly or quarterly basis. Any questions so far? So we had 477 responses from our survey results from our stakeholders. The first question was, are you in support of the mandatory face mask policy for students, faculty, and staff, visitors while indoors on campus? 57% of our stakeholders said yes, they do support the mask. 43% said no, they do not. Number 2, are you in support of limiting of the non-essential visitors on campus? 64% said yes. 36% said no. Number 3, are you in support of limiting large indoor mass gatherings while on campus? 57% said yes. and 43% said no. Number 4, are you in support of the symptom screening form used for morning drop-off for tracking potential COVID-19 symptoms? 64% said no, and 36% said yes. And number 5, are you in support of Clover Garden School providing antigen testing for COVID-19 on campus? 64% of our stakeholders said no, they do not support that, and 36% stated yes. As of today, our staff vaccination status is 52% have been fully vaccinated and 48% have not. So some of our health and wellness recommendations are as follows. Universal mask regardless of the vaccination status per the CDC and the Strong School Toolkit, but we would like to review it on a quarterly basis. Recommend, if possible, to have desks facing the same way. Recommend consistency throughout quarantine, close contact guidelines. Ensure safety and well-being of our staff and students. Again, our saying, safety trumps convenience. And the verbiage of the close contact / confirmed positive cases, both students that were engaged in consistent and correct use of well-fitting face masks, we would like to remove that because based off of our 2021 school year, we stayed at the 14 days regardless of the mask, making sure that it was consistent and was well used or well fitting. And we were showing that we were less than 1% of our secondary transmissions based off of that stringent 14-day quarantine school policy. The athletic recommendations are for conferences, no handshakes after the game, no dressing rooms to be utilized, players will come dressed, and volleyball teams will not change benches. Our athletic department would like to request the vote for masks inside for volleyball. Would like to follow the mandated mask with the exception for the 6 players on the court and the referees. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. Ms. Berrigan. Okay, Ms. Berrigan, under old business still, we have the student parent handbook additions and the staff handbook updates.
Yes, ma'am. So these revisions were sent to our governance committee for review. There were just a few things that were overlooked that we needed to update from the student handbook and then the staff handbook. Very minor things, but wanted to make sure we had approval to move forward and make sure that those are in the handbook. Those revisions, like I said, were provided to the governance committee, but they were as follows. Adding self-plagiarism, that definition to the plagiarism policy. And plagiarism is and includes self-plagiarism. Students must write original content for each assignment, and they cannot submit old work from previous classes as a new assignment in their current classes. We'd like to add that to our plagiarism policy in our handbook. And in middle school, would like to add a midterm exam and have that count as 1 test grade in semester 1. It's just a slight update there. They did not have necessarily midterms before. And those are the only 2 additions to the student parent handbook. And then the staff handbook revisions, you guys approved this last year to update our grade floor. Last year, you guys updated it to because we had block courses, you guys updated it to the grade floor being a 50% as the lowest score for H1 or semester 1. We would just need to update that. That 50% was based on 70% being passing. That's where that grade floor came from. Now that 60% is passing because of the 10-point grading scale, the teachers want to bump that back down to 40%. So those are the only changes there. It's just changing the grade floor from a 50% lowest to a 40%. That is it for the additions. Any questions about those?
Any questions? We did review and it looked in line with the things we wanted to clarify for those documents. Do I have a motion to approve the additions to the student parent handbook?
May I ask a question first?
Sure.
Are they voted on together as a group of, are they voted on together or separately? We vote to either pass or not pass as a group of
So-
additions?
Yeah, we'll vote on all the additions for the student handbook, and then I'll do a separate one for the staff handbook updates.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to accept the student parent handbook additions? Ms. Foster, do I have a second? Mr. Hackney, all in favor? And then also, do I have a motion to approve the staff handbook updates? Ms. Lane, second. Ms. Foster, all in favor? Ms. Verakin, the parent and governance, we've got the parent family engagement policy review.
So this is just for informational purposes, so, it should be in your packet. This is our Title I Parent Family Engagement Policy or Plan. This is just to kind of give you guys an informative view of what we do, to monitor our Title I and how we communicate with our families, in regards to Title I. So this policy was also, sent to the governance committee for review. So just need that, noted in the minutes, that they had the opportunity to review our parent family engagement plan.
Any questions on that? Moving on to new business. Ms. Simmons, the well monitoring report.
Yes, ma'am. The well monitoring reports have been submitted to Alamance County and the state departments, and the results reported herein conform to the applicable standards and quality manuals.
Thank you. Any questions? Ms. Simmons, the groundwater standards compliance.
Yes, ma'am. So we received notice of our groundwater standards exceedance after the testing as well. We are back in compliance now for record.
Thank you, Ms. Simmons. Mrs. Verakin, the LEA self-assessment.
So this is again, just for informational purposes, just to shout out our amazing EC department. They have to do annual LEA self-assessments that they have to turn in. And basically, it's just to make sure that we are in compliance with the state's requirements. So this one was reviewed for our LEA's data and performance on the required compliance elements for the 2020 determination data for IDEA. And basically, we got that report back that there were no findings, and we were 100% compliant for that. So just want to take a chance, our moment to shout out Ms. Garrison, who's our EC director, and our amazing EC teachers. They are on top of their game, so.
Thank you, Ms. Verakin. Yes, Ms. Garrison should be commended for all she does with our EC department. Thank you. Do we have any further items for open session? I know we have a few items for closed session. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to move into closed session under General Statute 143-18-11A1 and 5. Do I have a motion? Ms. Merle, second. Mr. Huffines, all in favor? Please let it be noted, we moved into closed session at 7:06 PM on August 10th, 2021.